We're going to be talking about child abuse, if it's on the rise or not. I mean, especially now during the COVID season, we're saying people should stay home, right? And the assumption is the home is the safest place for you to be. But what if it's not? What if you're stuck with a parent who's going to, abuse you to a point where you wish you had not stayed home? And what kind of social services are we making available to families who will be at the receiving end of such acts? Yeah,
absolutely. And I think it's very important. There's this almost like a pressure cooker situation that is created by the stay-home orders, know, and I think it creates a less than normal setting for, and any time you find out that some people are tending to be more aggressive and more explosive and all of that, these people, under such circumstances, it gets even worse. So that conversation, I think, is a very important one for us to have, and we'll delve into that a little bit later, particularly realizing that we've already had some cases of abuse, and violence meted out against people in the home.
And the sad thing is these are children, and it's being done by their fathers, so what exactly are we doing that's encouraging fathers who are supposed to be protecting their children to think it's okay to beat your 3-year-old to a point where his back you can't even recognize his back anymore because he peed on himself or he messed up your yam phone. Another father chopped off his son's ears and tried to chop off his finger because he stole from him. I mean, even as adults, when you commit a crime, you're still innocent until proven guilty. You can go to court to defend yourself. How more a helpless child depending on you for his safety? So I think it's really important that we have these conversations.
Later on, we're going to have this disinfection exercise that's been going on all across the country. Now the Zoom Lion is partnering with the police to disinfect the police stations and the barracks. So we'll probably be picking up a few calls from our correspondents, as they bring us information as to what is happening in some of those places. But every day we start the show with a quote of the day. So let's take a look at a quote for today, and we'll continue the conversation. So the quote is from Tim Notke, who is a basketball coach, and he says, "Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard." I like that. Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. So I think it's a very important reminder for all of us that no matter how gifted you are, if you don't work at your gift, if you don't develop your gift, if you don't develop that God-given ability that you did nothing for, you were born into the earth and you found out you already had this thing. If you don't do anything with it, it's completely useless. It will take you so far and no further. And then you'll find people who have worked hard and developed what little gift that they had become stars. So let's make that a priority today.
Yes, and part of what we'll be learning about today was also we'll be crossing over to hear from the information ministry, okay? It's becoming a thing now. Every Tuesday or Wednesday we hear from them. But today they'll be briefing us on the update on Obuasi and Tema case management. We know that the cases in Obuasi and Tema had gone up, and they were particularly in workplaces, right? So what exactly are the measures we've put in place to contain the spread of COVID-19 in these two places? How are people reacting to the measures being put there? We've heard stories of people resisting isolation centers in their communities. What's going to happen to these two places? We're also going to hear clarity on the recoveries. We learned this week that number of recoveries had gone up to 3 times the original number. Right? We are now moving in the thousands of recoveries. And some people were skeptical. They didn't know how these recoveries came about. So they're going to actually clarify that for us. The government is going to clarify that for us so that we're on the same page. And then thirdly, we're going to talk about stigmatization. A lot of people are, treating people who have survived from COVID as if they are a different breed of people. Instead of us empathizing with them, instead of us being compassionate, instead of us embracing them, we are rather judging them, right? And at least when you survive COVID-19, you know your status. That's what the first man who came out to share his story said.
Yeah.
We all don't know if we are positive walking around. And by the way, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having COVID. It's just like having a headache or a flu or a cold. So we need to get rid of the stigma and spread more love. So they're going to update us on all of that. At 9 o'clock, we'll cover it right here at Citi TV and, of course, at 97.3 Citi FM.
Yeah. Now, I'm looking forward to the explanation on the recoveries. I have a feeling that I know what it is already, but, you know, we've been waiting for so long for these recoveries, right? You remember at the point where I've been asking ourselves, why are we still doing, you know, double digits? Why is it not going higher, you know, and quicker? But we also understood very early that the protocol for announcing recoveries is very, very stringent, you know, and the Ghana Health Service is particularly more rigorous with their announcing of recoveries compared to other places. You know, so I think that for me, there's nothing untoward here, but it'll be good to hear the details, and especially because on the Ghana Health Service website, they've now bunched all the recoveries together without breaking up where they're coming from. You know, so you don't know whether they are coming from the mandatory quarantine group or from which other group. It's just one block, you know, so it'll be good to know where these numbers are coming from. And I want to see particularly the mandatory quarantine group, that 115 people that was there. I want to see all of them out because, I mean, they've been there for quite a while, you know, so what about treatment protocols? I hope they're working and then they get recovered. They get recovered soon.
Definitely. Yeah. I think we should check out our website, citynewsroom.com, for the updates on the current number of COVID cases. So we'll taking a look at that website so that we bring you the updates, www.citynewsroom.com/coronavirus, so that you can see all the updates there. And then pretty shortly, Superintendent Alice Awari Carroll will be joining us to talk to us about child abuse. Is it on the rise? How can we all contribute to ensuring that it does not become a thing? And throughout our conversation with her, if you have any questions for her, do use the hashtag BreakfastDaily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. If the website is ready, we'll just cross on over and take a look and update you on the COVID cases. While we're waiting for that.
All right, so, well, we know what the numbers are, don't we? The important thing for me, I think, is when we see what has happened with the current recoveries. I look at it in terms of the Ghana vis-a-vis the African situation, vis-a-vis the global situation, you know, and then the global average or global rate of recovery, I should say, rather, is about 37% there. The African average is slightly lower. The rate of recovery is 34, and then now the Ghana average is just above 30, you know, percent of recovery of the cases. So for me, that's a very important figure where we find ourselves now, because earlier on we were hovering around 10% for a very long time, you know. But again, like we said earlier, the explanation that at least that I understand now is the fact that they were being very meticulous in making sure that you don't just announce recoveries, you know, because you want people to be happy about the fact that numbers are getting recovered, but make sure that the people who are negative truly are negative and they're not going home to infect anybody else.
Yeah, I completely agree. And of course, the Information Ministry will be updating us on that. But last week, our colleague Hafiz Tijani brought us a report from Kumasi on the police arresting a father who abused his 3-year-old son. We'll take a look at the report and then continue the show.
The 3-year-old, who is only known as Junior, lies on a hospital bed at the children's ward of the Menchia Government Hospital. Pictures of severe injuries he sustained on his back, forehead, and other parts of his body went viral on social media. This prompted public and media attention. Menchia Divisional Police Commander ACP Kwekubua narrates the incident to Citi News.
Has been physically abused, brutalized by his own father. It so happened that the woman, the mother of the child, used to be in a relationship with the father of this child, but the relationship is no more. This man says he's a national service person based in Accra. He comes from Kumasi, so once in a while, he comes downtown, and over weekends, the baby goes to him to spend a weekend with. And that very weekend, as has been the practice in the past few months or so, he went for the baby, and the mother got a phone call from someone in the area telling her that if you really loved your son, come and pick him away. She goes to the house, and the former boyfriend, i.e. the father of the son, refuses to allow her to even see the baby. So she comes to the police station. We go with her to the house, and we go for the baby. We see that the baby has got a swelling on the forehead and a cut and a swelling on the forehead. We try to pick the baby, and she begins to cry in pain. We see some injection violet in the shirt that he was wearing, and we tried to remove it, and this boy begins to cry the more. So when we removed the shirt, it was very, very bad injuries at the back. The reason the man did this are two. Firstly, he says the boy has caused damage to his phone, a YAM phone. Secondly, he says the boy has urinated on his bed.
He says the father will be processed for court soon.
To physically abuse your own son like this, as we talk now, for the past 3-4 days, the boy is on admission. And our fear is that, I pray that it doesn't happen, but the fear is that the injury on the head might be a little bit more grievous than the one at the back. If that is the case, it means the doctors will have to do a surgery. A 3-year-old boy, what has he done to you? So he's in our custody, the docket is ready, and we've even sent it to the prosecution unit for them to start the trial. That's what we have on our hands.
Meanwhile, the Ghana NGO Coalition on the Rights of the Child has taken interest in the matter and has pledged to help in seeking justice for the victim. Berima Akwesiamankwa is national coordinator for the coalition.
I was happy when I saw the condition of the child because the demeanor of the child looks very good, even though she is in pain. But you could see that he is very okay, moving around, and that is encouraging, which we are very happy with the situation of the child.
What assurance are we getting from you?
The assurance that you are getting from us is that all of us are very concerned, and we want to support the process to ensure that the best justice is given to the child. And then also it's going to be something that is going to be there so that people will learn from it, that if you give birth to a child, you don't have any other thing than to take care of the child. You don't say that I'm the one that have given birth to the child, and for that matter, I can do whatever I want to do with the child. No. The survival and the development of the child is very paramount, and also ensuring that the child is well taken care of is what we need.
Police at the Menchia Divisional Command say they will continue to monitor condition of the victim and liaise with the family to get justice for the 3-year-old. From Kumasi, I am Hafiz Tijani for Citi News.
Okay, so that's a report by our colleague Hafiz Tijani in Kumasi. And as you can see there, 26-year-old father that's supposed to be protecting his 3-year-old son brutalizes him because the child peed on himself and stole his YAM phone, right? We learned yesterday that he's been granted bail, and just a few days ago in Wager as well, a father cuts off his son's ear, part of his son's ear, tried to burn the child's finger because he thinks the child stole 250 cedis away from him. What kind of maniacs are we raising in our society who thinks they can actually do that to their children? And how can we protect our children in this era of COVID-19 when we are telling them to stay at home because we think the home is the safest place for them to be? We have Superintendent Alice Owarikaro here with us. Owarikaro, sorry, she is the DOFSU Regional Coordinator for Accra. She's going to help us understand exactly what is going on with this child abuse situation in these two regions. Is it widespread across the country and we are not aware of? Throughout our conversation with her, if you have any questions for her, please use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832, and we'll do well to ask her for you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you too.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Good. Can you please talk to us about, child abuse, especially now in the era of COVID-19?
Child abuse generally is inflicting pain or harm to a child. And it comes in so many ways. We have the physical, the emotional, the sexual, and neglect. Of late, what we've been seeing in our offices is maybe somebody brings a child who had been abused by the parent, either the mother or the father, mostly the father. As you showed on the telly, we saw the Kumasi. Then now we have on our hand the Wager issue. Parenting comes with so many responsibilities, but it seems some of us are not getting it. So we end up, when the child does something, we become angry and overreact. So for now, that's what I would say.
Do we find that during the COVID-19 season, the cases are going up or not? Are we just becoming more aware of these things that are happening?
To be frank, if you ask me for data now, I can give it to you. But what we've seen is that now the children are at home with us. Previously, by now, they would have been in school or they've come on vacation. So right from 16th March, if I can recollect, that's when schools were closed. Yeah. And now the children are with us. So it's like they are always with us and they do one or two things and we become angry. Previously, they'll go to school, they'll spend about 8 to 10 hours in school and come in the night. Then during holidays, they'll be with us. But this time around, they are with us all the time. And children as they are, they will by all means do something for us as parents to correct them. But if you look at what is happening now, it's like we don't have patience to take care of those children. Whatever they do, we seem to misunderstand. And part of it is like some people grew up in an abusive environment. Maybe they were once a victim, so they think it is normal to do such a thing to a child. So they keep on doing it. And now that they don't go to school, I feel pity for them because most of the times when they go to school, at times it is the teachers who discovers some of these things. Because most of our houses are being fenced or walled. So you'll be hearing a child crying, but you don't know what is actually happening in that house. But when they go to school and the teacher discovers something, that teacher can bring the child to the police to report. But for now, it is maybe a co-tenant or somebody who overhears it that will tell us. That is the pity or the difficult aspect of it.
The cases we have so far, we're looking at Accra and Kumasi. Your outfit, do you get reports of this happening further afield in Ghana?
Yes.
Okay,
We do.
so what's some of the other places?
The other places, the problem is that for here, we are enlightened a bit, excuse me to say that,
Okay.
because of the education. And like we are doing right now, people get to know that maybe hitting your child to the extreme is an abuse. People do not know. So it happens and they don't even think it is an offense or it is a crime. So they keep on doing it. So if you look at it, the unreported cases are more than even those that are being reported, just because of ignorance. That is what I would say about that aspect.
So how do we collectively work together to protect children from such perpetrators? Because at this point, you failed as a parent if you abuse your child to this point.
So to us, that's you and me, we have to do more education for people to realize that it is not good for you to do that. Then we'll go on to the individual in the communities too, just the education still, for them to also understand that it is not only beating that you can correct a child, or maybe cutting off part of the body, that can help. But rather, we have other ways of doing it. Because per our culture, or when you look at the Bible, others are saying, spare the what?
Road.
Okay. So people use it, that, and even the Bible says so and so. Or our culture says you have to correct the child. And they keep on doing it.
But does correcting the child have to be physical and have to be, aggressive?
It shouldn't be. You have to justify that. For instance, if a child does something, and you do not tell the child that if you touch, let's take it, this is a hot croop pot, then the child is trying to touch it. If you do not explain to the child that this thing is very hot, if you do it, you touch it, it will hurt you. How will the child know? You will only keep on hitting the child. Stop it. Stop it. Others will go to the extent of taking a cane, saying that this child is stubborn. Meanwhile, you've not told the child anything. So how can the child resist from touching that thing? So we have to do more as parents for children to understand certain things so that we can correct them, for them to also know that they also have something to do. But if you keep on beating them, we'll end up killing them and will not get any results.
So beyond education, what else does JOPSU do to make sure that we bring down the spate of these type of crimes?
Education is more anyway. Because if we don't do the education, the person will not understand. So we keep on doing that. And when they come to us too, we talk to them. But we don't always wait, we don't want to always wait for them to come before. Because by then maybe they have already caused the harm to that child. I hope you understand. So it means that we have to do the education as we are talking of. Then try to maybe have talk with the community leaders and all that for them to understand certain things. If you summarize, it all comes to the education still. But we have to do it
What about prosecutions?
Prosecution, that's what we are doing right now. For instance, this Accra case, today we finished with everything. We are sending it to Jupu for it to be referred for prosecution. So apart from the education, we do prosecution.
What kind of community services are available to the victims, the mother of the child himself, to ensure that this trauma does not stay with them for the rest of their lives?
You mean this particular issue or others?
All people who have suffered from domestic abuse?
Most of the victims, let's take it, if we had not seen the mother, it means we have to remove that child from the abusive home to a shelter. That's what we are doing now. But you and me know that the shelter, we also have problems with shelter. But for now, that's what we are doing. Always take the child from the community or the family and see if there are other avenues like relatives who can take care of, and make sure that that relative will not allow the father or the mother who has been abusing that child to get in close with. Then when we take it to court, the court can also look at all those things through social inquiries to see where the child can be.
If
That's
you look
what
at the
we do.
prosecutions that you've had so far, do you think that it helps, in mitigating some of these crimes?
It helps in a way, because when you effect the arrest, for instance, and they come, you can hear the relatives saying that, my child that I'm going to train, is it a crime? It means they don't even know that is a crime. And the perpetrators themselves do not show remorse. Most of them. They think they are doing their parental responsibility. It's part of it. But when you do that, and in the end that person is being sentenced or convicted, then they'll come to realize that actually this thing, it works, or it's an offense. For now, that's what I would say. For those that we've done, that's what I would say about it.
What advice would you give potential perpetrators watching us this morning who are, abusing their children and thinking it's okay, as well as neighbors who hear of the abuse and stay silent because they think it's not their business to intervene?
I would tell neighbors that we should all take it upon ourselves and know that that child does not belong to only that parent. It is for all of us. And that child can live to be somebody in future. That will serve all of us. So anything that goes wrong with that child, we should bring it to the notice of the police. And even if some do not go to the police directly because they fear go and come, or the parents will get to know that, oh, you reported. We have opinion leaders in communities. We have teachers. We have NGOs. You can tell them. You can even call. And now we have WhatsApp Live that you can also send messages so that we'll pick it from there. And for the parents, I will always say that we should be patient. We are there to protect the children and to guide them and mold them to be good adults.
Okay.
So if a child should wrong you, you should rather calm down. If you think it is very high for you to stand, you leave the scene. Wait for a while. When you calm down, then you come back.
All right. So, Superintendent, how can people reach? People are watching right now. Some are being abused. Some of them are aware of abuse that's going on, and they want to report. How can they reach you?
They can come personally. They can call my personal number.
Where did they come to you personally?
I'm at the ministries.
Okay.
That is where the regional DOPS office is.
Okay.
We are on the first floor of the ministry police station.
Okay. Ministry Police Station.
Yes, please.
First floor. Okay. And then the number?
0243 926 962.
Kindly say that again.
0243 926 962.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those of you who are
And then
watching,
our WhatsApp number.
yes, please give that.
That is 055 100 900. That's why it will go to our national director,
Okay.
and it will take it down to whichever region that incident is taking place, so that the coordinator there or the officer there will take it up.
Okay.
Thank you so
right,
much.
thank you.
So I would like to say that being a parent is not just by a name. You have to be responsible, and you have to take care of that innocent child. Whatever that child is doing, he or she doesn't know that it is wrong. You have to let that child know that this thing you are doing is not the best. And give that child reasons for you preventing him or her to do that.
All right.
For the
Thank
child
you.
to understand.
Thank you very much. All right, so we've been speaking with Superintendent Alice Awarikaro, and she's the DOPSU Regional Coordinator in the Accra, and it's been a very insightful conversation. We're going to come back with the news review. My name is David Kwekusechido.
And I am Jifa Ikea Ametam.